Basically, this is what has happened. Sophie Cunningham's sister tweeted out, maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on poor officiating, yada yada. And then somebody responded with protect athletes, shut up B word at her sister. When Sophie Cunningham took out JC Sheldon. Reality is, the referees dealt with it. Like, that's not, the complaint isn't that these things aren't happening. The complaints are that the referees are not dealing with it.
Sophie Cunningham isn't just knocking down threes. She's clapping back at critics online, and fans can't stop talking about it. Anytime a player takes to social media, you know something went down. But this time, Sophie went all in, and the reaction has been wild. So what do you think? Was her response justified, or did she just add fuel to the fire?
And Sophie Cunningham, she's not afraid to call a spade a spade. She's not afraid to call it like it is. She's taken this opportunity with the Indiana Fever and has run with it. When it comes to on the court, she's performing. She's sticking up for her team. When it comes to off the court, she's getting the deals. She's getting the endorsements. She's got the podcast. And you better watch out, Twitter folks, because if you say something about Sophie's La Familia, oh, she's coming for you and coming for you.
Let's be real. When Sophie Cunningham hit Twitter, you knew it wasn't going to be subtle. This is Sophie. She's been locking up defenders on the court for years, and now she's locking in on trolls online. And the timing? Couldn't be better. When an athlete claps back mid-season, it usually means one of two things. They're done with the noise, or they've got nothing left to lose. For Sophie, it feels like a bit of both.
Sophie Cunningham, I believe this is Sister C. Shout out to you, Sister C. WNBA, maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you. Then we have Twitter Troll 101 say, quote, protect athletes, talking to Sophie Cunningham's sister, calls her the B word and tells her to shut up. And you had to know Sophie Cunningham's not going to let this slide. Sophie Cunningham is not going to let this slide and not let it slide as she did. She said, some of us were raised by the words of don't bite off more than you can chew, and some of us didn't. Quote, F around and find out, with a video of her throwing JC Sheldon.
All right, let's rewind. This all kicked off after that infamous play with JCS Sheldon. Sophie went in hard. Things got physical. Classic WNBA physical. And suddenly the refs are blowing whistles. Twitter is melting down, and fans are ready to crown Sophie the villain of the week. Standard WNBA drama. And honestly, nothing new. Sophie has always been that polarizing player, someone you either love to cheer for or love to hate. She'll hit a corner three, then bark at the opposing bench just to remind them she's there. She's fiery, unapologetic, and definitely doesn't fit the league's cookie-cutter PR image. So after the noise hit social media, Sophie, and technically, her sister, finally clapped back. And she didn't hold back. Critics were calling her dirty, even questioning if she belonged in the league. That's when her sister fired off a tweet saying what Sophie probably wanted to say herself. Maybe stop worrying about Sophie and start worrying about refs actually doing their jobs. And to be fair, that's a point a lot of players quietly agree with, even if they don't say it out loud.
And Sophie Cunningham even blows her the nice kiss emoji. Oh, shout out to Sophie Cunningham, man. Shout out to Sophie Cunningham. And then we have from her.
You're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck. You're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
Here's the thing. Sophie got tossed for that play, and the internet screamed, justice served. Fine. But where was that same energy when Bria Hartley yanked Angel Reese down by her hair? Or when Hartley undercut players against Seattle and somehow stayed in the game? The problem isn't that refs are calling fouls on Sophie. It's that the whistle is inconsistent across the board. Sophie gets punished instantly, while others get a warning and move on. And that double standard is exactly what fuels these online battles. By clapping back, Sophie just spotlighted what a lot of fans and players already knew.
Like, there's an entire thread of Bria Hartley committing dirty plays, and Bria Hartley has not been chucked out for most of them. For the majority of the dirty stuff Bria Hartley's done, she's not been chucked out. Sophie Cunningham rightfully got chucked for this. She got chucked for this. Anytime Sophie Cunningham does something that is technical foul worthy, she gets a technical foul. That is the referees doing their job. The referees doing their job is not preventing anything happening. The referees doing their job is making sure they call the right things and that they stop any complete escalation. The only thing the referees did wrong was allow Marina Mabrey to stay on the floor. JC Sheldon should have been, like, the reality is that JC Sheldon and Marina Mabrey, JC Sheldon should have been given a flagrant foul, and Marina Mabrey should have been ejected.
All right, so here's the deal. Sophie's Twitter moment wasn't some long, angry essay. It didn't need to be. It was short, sharp, and had that whole "don't mess with me" vibe all over it. And, just like always, the replies were split. Half the fans were hyping her up. Yes, Queen, tell M. And the other half? You're dirty, sit down. That's Sophie Cunningham in a nutshell. Polarizing, messy, entertaining. But here's why this one hit differently. Sophie usually doesn't go at people directly. She'll like a tweet, maybe drop a sarcastic emoji, sometimes retweet something, but full-on clapping back? That's rare, which makes this feel like it came from somewhere deeper. Like, maybe she's hurt. Maybe she's frustrated. Maybe she feels like she's being singled out. Because let's be honest, athletes don't just dive into the mud with trolls unless they're already fed up. And for Sophie, this looked like that breaking point. Now, if we're being real, Sophie's not exactly a superstar by the box score. She's not dropping 30 every night. But that doesn't always matter. Presence is a currency in sports. Dennis Rodman wasn't lighting up the scoreboard. Angel Reese isn't a top 10 player by advanced metrics, but you cannot stop talking about them. And Sophie? She's in that same lane. Statistically, she's middle of the pack, but in terms of buzz and marketability, top 10 easily. People love to hate her. And honestly, that's a brand all by itself. And look, she's not just vibes. She's producing. She's second in true shooting percentage. She's hitting threes. And she's become a legit glue piece for the Fever. Caitlin Clark is obviously the centerpiece of that rebuild, but Sophie's the one spacing the floor, pulling defenders, making life a little easier. Coaches love that. Fans might boo her, but coaches love that mix of toughness and production. The thing is, once that clapback dropped, the internet did what it always does. They dug up clips, made foul compilations, and basically crowned her the WNBA's official villain. And honestly, every league needs one. The NBA had Bill Laimbeer and the Bad Boys. The NFL had Vontaze Burfict. Sports thrive when there's someone you love to hate. And right now, Sophie's carrying that banner. The twist is, she doesn't want to just be the villain. She wants respect as a shooter and as a competitor. That's why she snapped. She wasn't denying anything. She was saying, fine, call me dirty, but at least call it both ways. And she's not wrong. Inconsistency is what drives players absolutely insane. And there's a bigger layer here. People say they want women's sports to be tough, fiery, and competitive. But the second someone like Sophie actually plays with an edge, suddenly she's dirty or classless. That's a double standard, plain and simple. And Sophie basically called it out, without needing to write a whole manifesto. Now here's the crazy part. 10 years ago, this wouldn't have been a headline. Nobody outside of hardcore fans would have even noticed. But in the Caitlin Clark era, different story. Every foul, every stare down, every clapback is a national conversation. And Sophie? She's not running from it. She's leaning in. But here's what worries me. When players go heavy on social media mid-season, it usually means something behind the scenes isn't great. Could be healthy, could be locker room stuff, could just be pure frustration. And honestly, Sophie's tone sounded like someone who's not at 100%. And if she goes down, the Fever are in trouble. Because no matter how great Clark is, Sophie's shooting and toughness are what keep defenses honest. And on the business side, losing Sophie means losing one of the WNBA's best conversation starters. Like it or not, she keeps people talking. And that matters. Here's the bigger takeaway, though. This isn't just about Sophie. It's about the WNBA as a whole. The league wants to be clean, polished, family-friendly, but it needs personalities like Sophie to keep fans hooked. And right now, she's both the headache and the solution. So is this clapback smart? On the court, maybe not. Off the court? Absolutely. She went from elite role player to main character overnight. And in today's sports culture, sometimes being the main character is worth more than being an all-star. At the end of the day, Sophie Cunningham's clapback exposed a double standard, stirred the pot, and reminded everyone why she matters. Love her or hate her, she's relevant. And in sports, that's everything. So let me throw it back to you. Did Sophie just shine a light on the league's flaws, or did she walk right into her critics' trap? Drop your take in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and join the conversation.